G'day guys, just waiting on Kaz to come online. Mike was going to join us, but he had forgotten he had another commitment, so he is dealing with that this morning. Apologise for my continual croakiness. I can't seem to shake this cold, which is about the normal for me. Oh, and my wife is having a chat with her friends in the background, so I shall shut my door. Ah, Kaz! Hello!
Hello! I've got a hammer today.
Hey, it's getting serious.
It is. I just want to finish off some bits that need hammering, so I might be on mute for a little while.
You haven't been driven dotty yet?
Well, I drove myself slightly mad this morning because I'd see the stripes here.
Yeah.
White stripe. One of the lots I needed to do was just the black and white stripes, and there are 2 lots of 4x4 plates on each stripe, and I'd just done them as one, so I got 8 stripes instead of 4, and I'd done about 5 base plates worth, and then thought, oh bum, I had to get them all off again because I hadn't done well. So that was an hour of my life I'll never get back.
Okay.
Never mind, we'll live.
How's the rest of it going? I saw you've had a few images on Instagram of it.
This one's quite intense in that I've got 56 base plates to cover with 4x4 tiles.
Good grief.
And then I've got to do, admittedly not a complete covering, but I've got to do a not insignificant number of 1x1 tiles on the ones that are all blue. So
on the plus side, it's not like the mosaic things that are 1x1 tiles.
No, but it is pretty irritating having to. I mean, if I didn't have the hammer, my fingers would be absolutely dead. But
yeah,
God knows what the neighbours think that there's sort of bashing going on. But
doesn't she build Lego? What's she doing hitting it with a hammer?
Well, somebody else was hammering in sympathy out in the garden. I think they were probably doing some DIY. But
hey Ingrid, how are you? Thanks for joining us this morning. It's like one of those, you need to do one of those intros. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
And good night.
Huh?
I think that was Two Ronnie's sketch, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. I was trying to remember who it was. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I think it was Two Ronnie's. It sounds like Two Ronnie's.
It was, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was them. I'm back where we were 2 weeks ago. I'm building walls again because I built a wall and then realised the modular I was going to put in front of it didn't need a wall. Oh. And then I actually thought today I'm going to actually do the modulars a different way around to where I was going to. So now I do need the wall I built originally.
Don't.
Luckily I hadn't destroyed much of it. So
yeah.
It's only a short wall. It's taking me blooming ages to do.
Yes, they're not straightforward.
I'm going to apologise if I cough a lot during this. I've got this, feels like I've got a golf ball in my throat I can't get rid of. It's my wife's.
You sound a bit better than you did last week. You sounded
it's clearer. It's just bloody annoying. I keep having coughing fits.
Yeah. People assume you've got COVID when you do that, don't they?
Yeah, I know. So no, I get this every fucking year. Trust me.
Is it allergies or?
Well, I had pneumonia about 10 years ago, and ever since I had pneumonia, I get hit badly by colds.
Yeah, my dad actually got. He ended up getting whooping cough when he was about 70. I mean, it was, normally associate whooping cough for kids, don't you?
Yeah.
But he had this really dreadful cough for months and months, and eventually they said, "Yeah, we think you've had whooping cough." And unfortunately, what that does is it destroys. Inside the air sacs, there's little hairs that basically filter out all the nasty crap that you breathe. And whooping cough apparently destroys a lot of those and causes you to get more infections more quickly. So maybe something similar has happened with you. If pneumonia is not going to do much good. Is it?
It's funny. It was one of those things. Like I had a cold and it turned into a bad cough, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, go away.
Well, I have suffered from asthma quite a bit. Not much recently, but whenever I get a cold, it usually ends up on my chest as well. So
yeah, No, it's annoying because I was doing my my visa for Australia at the time, like my working visa, my proper visa, not just my like working holiday visa. And as part of that, you have to have a chest X-ray to check you've not got tuberculosis. And I went and had the X-ray done, and the doctor said, "Mr. Bryan, can you come in here and have a chat with me, please?" I'm like, oh. I said, "Yeah, look, this on your lungs. Yeah, you got pneumonia. You need to go to the doctor right now. It's pretty serious." I'm like, really?
Well, at least it wasn't TB, but it's still bad news.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'd still been going to the gym and doing all these things. You're like, I have no idea how you've been functioning so well, but you need to stop. And here's some medicine. I went into the doctor's, and he said, hello, sir, how can I help you today? I said, I've got pneumonia. He went, looked at me. I went, no, you haven't. I said, I have. Look at this X-ray. He went, bloody hell, you shouldn't even be standing.
Wow. And
ever since then, my lungs have not been as good.
Pneumonia is one of these things that isn't catching as such, is it? It's sort of a byproduct of other things that can either be viral or bacterial.
Yeah, basically.
Did they ever figure out what caused it or not?
No, not at all. I think it was probably just the fact I was living in a different climate been here about 3 or 4 months at the time. I hadn't even been here that long.
There we go, another one done.
Hooray!
That's 6 out of 8 of that pattern to do.
Well, look, I've built another retaining wall that you can hardly see, but I felt like I had to do it properly. See?
Oh yeah. Looks
does
fine.
have this handy dandy gate here that goes into the train tunnels. I haven't decided where that's going to go yet, but I felt like it needed something there because you can actually see that one. So
yeah.
I was like sort of thinking an underground rave club or a
secret
meth lab or something like that in there. I don't know.
One of my walls has got a little tunnel like that. It looks really nice. Doesn't go anywhere, but it's just got the doors.
Yeah, it's got a wooden post behind it, so it's a bit hard to actually do anything too much with it. But anyway, yeah, last night I did roads, and I'm like looking at one bit tonight, going, should I have done it that way, or should I do it a slightly different way? Having spent like 2 hours doing road plates last night.
You're not doing mills though, are you?
No, God, no. I'd love to do mills, but I don't I need to sell a kidney to buy enough bricks to do that. Just like I see Daryl's ones he keeps putting up. Daryl, Mr. Live Stream, mills plate man at the moment. Which I do go into them and check them. They're very interesting. I like the one he did on the runway. That was very interesting. Given that he works at an airport, doesn't he? And hey, Julian, how are you? But yeah, just like the amount of bricks you need to make it all work is frightening.
Yeah, it's scary, really.
I guess it would get around the slight problem I have. I'm looking at one of my plates right now, and it's basically got a nice smile shape to it because all of the tiles are putting so much tension into it. It's making it bow.
Oh no. It's interesting because if I don't catch Daryl's live streams live, I don't have the time to watch them all afterwards. But at one point he was doing like a little summary of this is what I did in my live stream, which was perfect because I could just watch that. But he seems to have given up doing that, which is a shame.
Well, he's doing like a video a day at the moment, though, isn't he? He's doing loads.
There also seems to be lots of rumour videos going up as well.
Yeah. Well, I confess I've been doing them there. I don't know if you found this, but hey, Brick Guy, hey, Brick Hive. I'm finding my views and my subs are down at the moment. Like my subs are down the lowest they've been for about a year. And I don't know why. Because I haven't changed anything.
I haven't honestly looked if I, it's not something I keep much of an eye on.
Mike's noticed the same thing we were just talking about, and we can't figure out what we've done, like why it's different.
You probably haven't done anything. It's probably the stupid algorithm.
Yeah. No, it's annoying. I was doing well, and it's suddenly been like crushed. We've been crushed.
Well, this is why I don't take a lot of notice. I just keep doing what I'm doing, and people watch. That's great. If they don't, well.
I think I'm just going to start doing live videos of everything I do. Like when I'm building stuff, do them live, and then do like Oh, and do, yeah, anyway. Something like that. I don't really want to tile all the way down here. I think that might be a bit excessive. What do you reckon? Doing this whole back alley here. I'm going to do this bit here. Just don't think
you
it
could
needs
always do it with, if you got any round tiles, you could just dot a few of those like it was a bit of a dodgy paving.
Oh, yeah, crazy paving with some bits of light green in there for moss. That was how I was trying to do on my my Lego store. Is I've trying to sort of have a little back alley behind it as well. So I was going to try and do a city update video tonight, but I don't know what the energy.
It always looks good if you can have a bit of a back.
Yeah.
Put some detail, even if in bits that aren't seen very much, you know.
Yeah, that's my thought, and put a couple of little hidden stories in there and things like that. Hey, brother from another brick. Hey, GJBricks, how are you? So Kaz is hitting Lego with a hammer today, and I'm building alleyways. It's a fair summary, isn't it?
Absolutely. I won't be hitting things for very long. It's probably about another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to do some more dotting to wreck my fingers in a different way.
Well, I think I'm going to park that for now. I'm actually kind of happy with how that looks now. It looks a bit more finished, having actually something around it. So I'm going to come back and do this alley another time. I was actually going to bust open a set and build it. I got a second shrimp shack because it was like very cheap. So I don't know if I'm going to use the first one or not, but it's got good parts in it anyway, hasn't it? So
yeah, definitely. I'll let you listen to the noise of my hammering for a bit if you want.
I figured it was worth picking up for half price.
Oh, hate you.
Well, it doesn't happen very often on sets like that, though. I mean, those sets are pretty cheap in the first place.
Well, considering that, you know, how much things seem to be now, I think actually Hidden Side's been pretty reasonable.
Yeah. I'm disappointed they're cancelling it, to be honest. I've really enjoyed the theme.
Well, have they, haven't they? I'll believe it when they take it off the shelf.
That's true, yeah. It's like it's not actually been officially confirmed, has it? It was still sort of doing the rumour mill, so fingers crossed it hasn't been. I built my Alien Conquest ships the other day. They're blooming awesome. You know those ones?
They look really cool, yeah.
I especially like the tripod one, but then I built the UFO one last night and thought that looks really, really cool. I want another one.
You've got an alien invasion going on now, haven't you?
Yeah. I took the crane out because I needed to get over to something, and the crane's kind of in the way to getting over there. So, yeah, I think I'm actually going to have to dismantle a couple of sets and put them back in their boxes because I haven't got room for them. Monkey Kid one I'm bitterly disappointed about because I really wanted to have that one in my harbour.
Oh, it's massive though, isn't it? Absolutely humongous.
Yeah. Well, I've got it next to the Deep Sea Explorer, and that's pretty huge as well. And it's not far off the same length.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got more to go. No, I'm going to definitely take mine apart and use the bits for some sort of Ninjago Doxy type extension thing.
Yeah, that would be cool. I was having a think about my Ninjago district the other day, and given the space I've not got for it, I think I'm going to try and do something very layered, like really layered.
Yeah.
Kind of borrowing almost from Ninjago City in style.
The only way is up, as they say.
Yeah. I think it's the only way it's going to work. So much to build. I'm like thinking ahead to everything else, and I haven't even still haven't finished this bit.
Well, talking of the Monkey Kid sets, you know the massive mech came with that really interesting little building.
Yeah.
I didn't want the mech itself, but I really wanted the building for Ninjago District, and I managed to pick one of those up on eBay for 25 quid. Which, considering the whole set is 120, I thought actually that's pretty. Oh no, 130 RRP. And I don't want the mech. I thought actually that's pretty good. So I'm just now looking for the similar thing for Red Sun's Inferno truck, which has got the Panda grocery store, I think it is.
That's
But unfortunately, you can't get the stickers. I've looked on. Someone said, "Oh, just buy the stickers and put it together yourself." And I think there was only one seller on Bricklink that had got the sticker sheet for one of the sets, and it was about £5, and it was from somewhere that was going to cost me a fortune for postage. So I thought, well, I'm not doing that. But it just seems like nobody's parted those sets out.
Yeah, quite pricey to do it still because they're so new. I haven't really seen them on sale yet.
Well, yeah.
I got the mini Cooper Speed Champion set purely because I wanted this mini.
Yes, that's what little Kaz drove to Denmark last year when we did our road trip.
It's such an awesome mini. I'm gonna change the roof rack to the roof to be a proper have baggage on it. But
yeah, I soon got rid of that other revolting dark green thing because that was awful.
Yeah, I haven't even built that. I'm not looking at it going, how many of the parts from that can I use to build another mini? Can I build like a mini Clubman or something?
Probably.
Yeah, it's a little mini.
Chat's burbling away to themselves. Hope everyone's doing all right.
I'm going to be back in 2 seconds. I just have to go into the bathroom. Apologise.
We've got Julian's Brick City. Haven't seen you for a while. Hello. BFAB, Mitty Bricks, Brick Clicker. Good to see everyone. I say apologies for the banging noises, but I shall be finished with this bit very soon. And then I will stop using the big hammer. If you ever find that you need to put a large number of plates onto a base plate, one of these rubber hammers is absolutely invaluable. It's pretty soft on the end. I mean, you can even squeeze it, so it's it's quite. It gives quite a lot, but it really does make sure that there's nothing sticking up where it shouldn't. And bearing in mind these pieces are going to be transported halfway across the globe, I don't want anything falling off. Hello, Samuel. Nice to meet you again. I play little games with myself when I'm doing this because otherwise it gets madly monotonous. And just taking a handful of parts out of the tray, I like to see whether or not I've accidentally just got the right number for a particular stripe. I failed in that case because I had to put an extra one in, but it's quite so. See, I've just got a random handful here. Well, let's see if that's enough to do the next white one, shall we? So what are other folks building today, if anything? All right, you're just chilling out. Going to be short. That handful is definitely going to be short. Need another 4. Damn! Don't win that one. And actually, you don't really have to put a lot of force behind this. It's almost like you just let gravity do the bounce, and that's enough for each corner. You don't have to whack it very hard. Because actually, unless you hold it, well, if you hold it at the back of the grip, it's actually quite heavy. So you don't really need to put a lot of exertion into it. But it's heavy enough that I keep changing hands. I'm naturally right-handed, but I've got a problem with this elbow. It's got tendinitis at the minute, so I don't want to do everything with that hand all at once. Hence, switching over to the other hand. I'm pretty good at using both for things that aren't too critical. Yeah. I haven't managed to hammer my fingers yet, so that's good.
Oh, Jesus, Kaz, keep the noise down.
Am I keeping your kids awake?
Oh, tell you what, they better bloody sleep tonight.
I was hammering so loud I woke folks in Australia. If you're bored of it, think about what I'm feeling.
Yeah, you've only been doing it for like 2 weeks, haven't you?
Well, the hammering I haven't been doing for that long because I was waiting for the hammer to come. Hey, that's the last of the big ones on this shape. And
You'll have to get...
the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the other 40 of these 32 by 32 base plates basically got to be completely covered with blue. So I've got the mother of all boxes full of blue plates on the floor next to me.
Can I just ask?
You may.
They do know that they make a blue base plate, yeah?
It's not my thing to say this, but yes, they do. But it's all about textures, darling. You see, that's what it is. The rest of the plates are covered with black and white stripes. So
I picked this one up for half price this week, so I'm going to
crack it open. It's a nice set. I like
it.
it.
I've got 2 of them now, so
could make a double-sized shrimp shack.
A double-decker haunted shrimp shack.
Yeah, I must confess, all of my hidden side stuff got de-ghosted pretty quickly.
Yeah, I've got a few that I've kept, but Joss loves them. I mean, I've got a couple that I bought because I knew Joss would like them. I've got the busts. I actually like the bust, but
I built the bust a while back, and I probably will use it for a bit next to the Apocalypseburg, which I'm wondering where to put.
Yeah, it's too big for actually using in the city properly, isn't it? So,
yeah, absolutely. I thought I might make it into a cafe or something.
No, look, here's my first thing. Bag 1.
Right, hammering is done for the minute. So there we've got an 8 by 32 section.
Oh, that's a small plate.
Now, before anybody starts, this was cut by a Lego employee. If I'd had to cut it myself, I wouldn't have had any objections whatsoever. Suck it up.
I buy cheap plates from Kmart if I need to cut them.
Well, I find the cheap ones are actually more difficult to cut than the Lego ones because they're slightly thicker normally.
Oh, no, I haven't had a problem with them. So this is bag 1 of this set, yeah? This is my opinion of bag 1. Bag 2. That was the car.
Ah, oh yes. Who needs the car?
Yeah. You need to do what Mike did and turn it into a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
Mike was going to join us, but he realised he was he actually had something else booked. It was actually his request going, are we doing the stream tomorrow?
Better fish to fry, eh? I see.
No, he's going to do some fun. He's going to got to go and do a pickup, I believe it was.
Ingrid says, is this planters or another piece of furniture? It's for another piece of furniture. It's for a massive room dividing screen, which I shall show you when I put those back in the bag.
What happens to all this Lego when it's finished?
Pardon me?
Like when this when this like thing you're building is like finished and like the exhibition whatever ends, what happens to all the bricks?
Don't know. I mean, the last lot got put in storage and then disappeared. So, well, some of it got damaged. I don't know really what happened to most of it. But anyway, here we go. So this is the a screen. Just trying to get you in shot. This is a screen. So I've just been doing the stripy bits at the bottom, which are basically 4x4 plates stuck onto 32 by 32 base plates.
Oh, crumbs.
And then these are all the blue sections. Now there's 2 sides to this, so I've got to do 8 columns worth of these, and then eventually put some 1x1 tiles on in I think it's a 4x12 pattern, which isn't particularly regular, but it is the same on each column. So I've got to do 8 that look like that one, and then 8 that look like this one, and then 8 that look like that one, and then label them all up so that when they come to put them on the actual piece of furniture, they don't get it wrong. Which of course is more difficult now that we're doing stuff at home, because when we were doing it where they were making the furniture the first time, it was very easy to go, okay, that's one row, go and put that on now. Whereas it's all got to be labelled up and put back in the box in a way that people can go, oh, this is the kit for this bit, you know. So it's quite fun. But the actual screen is a concertina screen, as you can see just there.
Yeah.
And the grey parts are actually mirrored pieces, which is obviously not Lego, but they fit mirrors to those. And I think in my second House of Dots video that I did back in January, you can see that quite clearly in some of the footage I took from the actual house. But of course, last time there was 10 of us building this, and it didn't take us that long. It was a few hours, maybe 2 hours between 10 of you.
Yeah.
But when it's just one of you, that's 20 hours work. I think they've estimated 17 for this one, actually. So, but there we go. Right, I'm going to do something a bit quieter now.
I'm just
partly for my own sanity and partly for yours.
I'm just looking up what Samuel said. He's building the Bricktuber Tyne Bridge Lego set. I had never seen that before.
Oh yes, I know of it because I have mates in up that area. So
that looks an awful lot like the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Well, bridge designs aren't that different necessarily, but it's a bit shorter than that one.
I have to say the Sydney Harbour Bridge is the one that gets all of the credit, but there's actually a second bridge here called the Anzac Bridge, which is much nicer.
Right.
Like it's one of those ones that's like the triangular columns going up to a single column in the middle. It looks really impressive when you drive through it.
Yeah.
Much more impressive than the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Somebody changed their name by deed poll to Sydney Harbour Bridge. Double barrel, obviously.
Why do people do stuff like that? Never understand.
Bonkers, I don't know.
Like, you've got to have a screw loose to feel that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Either that or you do it for the publicity for whatever reason.
Yeah. What else we got in here? Smurfs 730. Hello.
Would you like a couple of thousand black tiles?
Oh, I need some of those. I actually used up all of my black tiles on my roads.
Yeah, but you don't want to be tiling them with 1x1s, mate.
No, that would be soul destroying. Good luck.
You're gonna need it.
And a strong drink or three.
So yes, I have the delights of a grey base plate this time.
GJBricks got his 80/80 today. Lucky man. Mine's in the Lego bag over this shoulder here. So
this is the pattern I'm doing next.
Oh, lovely.
And we need about 40, the equivalent of about 40 of these. It's a kitchen tabletop, so it's a long, thin table.
Whoa.
And the problem with this pattern is it's not regular. It repeats the same on every 32 base plate, but it's not particularly regular, so you have to keep your wits about you as to whether you've got it right.
Wow.
But originally, because the folks that are organising the building of the stuff and the designing of the stuff are having to work partly remotely as well, one lot had done the design and another lot had done the getting the pieces together to send to me. And what they sent originally was the design on here is clearly made on a 32 by 32 base plate and needs to be repeated on a 32 by 32 basis. But they'd sent me 48 by 48 base plates, fewer obviously, but I was like, that's going to be a nightmare for me to work out the pattern and where each one fits together. I might get it wrong, and when you come to actually put them on the tabletop, you'll probably get it wrong as well. So I said, it'd be an awful lot simpler if you could just send me some 32 by 32s instead. They went, oh yeah, okay, we'll do that then.
crumbs.
But hey ho. But you know, considering the nightmare that they must have had to have got everything ready. Just a few odds and ends like that are just nothing compared to how much effort's gone into getting it right. So
yeah, I don't envy the project managers on that one.
no, lovely chap called Libor from the Cladno model shop, but I think he's losing a bit of hair.
Yeah.
He certainly seems to have a fewer strands of hair than he did in January, anyway. So how I'm basically going about this is I put the white bits on first and then just do the fill of each row in black. And I've got one example base plate that I'm always using the same one that's the master copy, copy that was checked 3 times to make sure it's the same as this. If it is wrong, then I'll just have to put up with that. But then I'm basically looking at one row at a time and gradually moving a bit of paper and doing one row at a time to make sure I've got all the blobs in the right place. Yeah. So tedious, but you know.
I've got to ask, with a pattern like that, would anyone actually notice if it was ever so slightly wrong?
Well, I managed to get one of, you see this one down here, I managed to get that one across on a couple of plates. And when I stacked them all up together, the edges weren't the same. If it had been one in the middle, I probably wouldn't have spotted it. But just because it was right on the edge, I was like, oh, damn, I've done that wrong.
Yeah.
And the answer is possibly not, but
in certain situations,
they would, yes. You know?
Yeah. That makes sense. Doc Sanson, hello. Quite a few people around tonight. That's good.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of the rumours going around at the moment?
Oh, I try not to take a lot of notice of rumours if I'm honest.
Surely one or two must pique your interest.
Well, I mean, the Gardens of Ninjago City I've taken more interest in than any of the others, but
I've got to say, I think that's true because it seems like, it's such a good theme they've created there that I think they'd be mad to not carry it on.
Yeah, but I also find that the timing's a bit weird. I mean, there's no movie anymore.
Well, that's because Warner
the movie didn't do that well, did it?
Well, that's because Warner's realised that churning out 3 Lego movies a year is not the best idea. That's what they were. It was 3 movies a year at one point, wasn't it? It's like ridiculous.
I think also somebody mentioned, I can't remember who it was, so I can't credit them, but they said, you know, although it's sort of a tie-in with the Ninjago movie because that's where the original came from, they may well just brand it as being Ninjago Legacy, which is the current thing, which made sense.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I didn't mind the movie, but they were making too many. They were just knocking them out. It's like typical bloody movie studio. Oh, this did well. Let's destroy it by putting too many movies out.
Quantity, not quality.
Yeah. It's like pop records, isn't it? It's like you get sick to death of a song because they just play it to death on public radio. You're like, I hate that song now. It's not a bad song, but I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited at the prospect of yet another Ninjago thing, but I'm quite scared about what the price might be.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it's more like Ninjago Docks than Ninjago City. But Ninjago City was like the set that got me back into Lego properly.
Yeah. Because
when I saw it, I'm like, that's amazing. It just really got me excited about everything going on in it.
Well, I'd seen it and thought, oh, that looks really cool, but can't possibly justify that amount of money on a Lego set. And then we got a copy of it in, must have been January 2018 at the London AFOLs. And basically every January we normally build the new modular. But for reasons I can't remember, we built Ninjago City instead. And even though at that point I'd only got involved with building just a small section of it, I was like, oh my God, this is such a good set. I've got to have it.
Yeah. I think I had it for like a year before I built it.
Oh no, I
like,
bought it home and I cracked it open straight away.
I
No matter
bought it.
what else I got in the backlog, it was like, no, I'm doing this next.
No, I got it, and I'm like, I need to be in the right headspace for this. I absolutely have to be.
I think Doc says he's Dr. McBrick says he doesn't want to build it until the kids are out of the way, doesn't he?
Yeah, because they all want to build it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Going full Lord business on them.
Yeah. Well, I got the Avengers helicarrier the other day, and Joss saw it under my desk, and she's like, "Oh, that's such a cool set."
Oh no!
Oh dear.
Do you have any loft space?
Pardon?
Do you have loft space where you're living now?
Nope.
Literally
everything shoved under my tables and my desk.
Yes.
It's quite cozy. Maybe I'll let her build it with me, but the trouble is I'm worried that she'll just want to play with it. Then I'm like, oh no, but I needed it for something. It's mine.
Look at it this way, Greg, right? What's the worst that could happen? You build it with her and she plays with it for a bit and then it gets damaged or whatever and you just rebuild it and then you'll have the fun of building it again because she won't want to build it a second time.
No, I was going to say, to be honest, I want it for the parts, but...
Well, even better then. If she wrecks it, it doesn't matter. You just pull it apart. Don't be such a grouchy old dad.
I'm grouchy with her at the moment because I got her the Ghostbusters car for her birthday and she's like hasn't finished it yet. I'm like, and she wants more sets. I'm like, hang on, wait a minute.
It's not how it works, kid.
Like, I've got that set because you've been talking about it for so long and then you haven't built it.
You're not allowed any pudding until you've eaten your first course.
Well, it still doesn't bloody work, I tell you.
If it was me, I'd be like, well, I just want to start with dessert then.
Yeah. Yep, I'm like, good luck with that. Doesn't work like that in my house.
It works like that in my house because I'm the only one I've got to please. So I can do what I like.
Oh, I'd be lying if I said my wife and I don't occasionally have dessert for dinner ourselves, but we've got to set a good example for the kids when they're awake, haven't we?
Sure. But I think sometimes this adulting thing's a bit overrated.
Oh, I'm a liar. My wife technically has 4 children, so.
Poor woman.
Hmm?
Poor woman. How does she cope?
Yeah. Well, I work for toys, so it's easy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it happens to be one of the most expensive toys, but
most people work for food, but you know.
Yeah. She got given a business this week.
What? How does that work?
Well, there's a person she was working with has this business that makes these really beautiful candlestick holders. They're not the most complicated thing in the world, and but for various reasons she's had to step back from that business to focus on her other business, and she didn't want to give up on that business entirely. So she's like asked my wife if she wants to, because she's using it for part of what she's doing now. So got a CNC mill machine and everything.
As long as it doesn't come with a debt, then I guess that's fine.
No, there's no debt. Everything's paid for on it. It comes with 3 orders to fulfill in next month.
So you're going to be making candlesticks, are you?
Not candlesticks, candlestick holders.
Ah.
God, yeah. I don't have the patience to do things like that.
Surely there's a market for making some of those out of Lego, isn't there?
Probably. I mean, the price people are paying for those mosaic.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe candlestick holder will be the next thing in the dots line.
Yeah. Ingrid, I quit my job too, so I technically should have more Lego time, but I don't because I have 3 children. So my Lego time starts at about 10 o'clock at night.
Although possibly Lego and hot dripping wax is possibly not a good combination.
No, I think you'd need to do something around that one. But I don't know, I just can't believe how popular those painting things are.
They are phenomenally expensive, it seems.
I just feel such a I mean, I was amused when Brickstar went through Bricklink and priced it out.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're the first person to part one of those out, you can set the price yourself, because there is no 6-month average for the new parts. Everybody's going to be wanting them because they want to try and part them out themselves rather than paying a fortune for them, part. And you've got everybody by the you-know-whats, haven't you? I mean, as he said, it won't be long before prices settle down and become more reasonable, but I'm sure some of those parts, the new parts, might be available on Bricks and Pieces, but I would imagine that they're not, $1.50 each or whatever the guy was asking.
Yeah.
Even if they're not pennies, then it's still got to be cheaper, surely, if you can get them on Bricks and Pieces.
Yeah, I agree. It's nuts.
But I think at the minute, if you actually want to do a proper job of it, you can't get the backing things from Bricks and Pieces, or there's a very limited number of them.
What's the backing thing? What's so special about the backing on it? I haven't looked at it in that much detail.
Well, it's a 16 by 16 by 1 and a plate brick, and it's more or less hollow underneath, but all around the sides it's a full brick high, with Technic hole, I think 3 or possibly more Technic holes down the middle of each side. So if it had one more layer of plate underneath it, it would basically be a ready-made Micropolis block.
Yeah. So that basically the reason they're so expensive is those plates.
They were about, when I last looked and they were available, they were about £5.90 each. I mean, it's a big part. It's a specialised part. Yeah. Although hopefully, it's versatile enough that people can use it for mills plates and all sorts of things if there are enough of them available. So if the price comes down any, then that will be helpful. But there's 9 of those in each set. Well, that's 40 quid justified just there and then. Actually, it's more than that. For 6 9s are 54. So that's a good third of the price, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, you could if you wanted to build them on a 48 by 48 base plate. Of course you could. Yeah. But that natively doesn't hang very well on the wall because it's too floppy.
Yeah, you'd have a massive. You'd have the same problem the roads have got at the moment.
Yeah. They banana themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, like my road plate is. Damn you.
You say you've got a bit of subsidence going on.
Well, that's a good thing about my road plates that have got that island down the middle of them, is actually the island makes it stay flat.
Yeah.
But the ones I haven't got the island down the middle of have all curled up, which is fine because they're all going to have a wall along the edge of them. I just haven't done the wall yet because I've realised I need to buy more blooming bricks.
Yeah. Always buy more blooming bricks.
Oh. I don't. Damn it. I hate that when you drop a piece on the floor. No.
Yeah. Funnily enough, when we did this in Uxbridge for the first House of Dots thing, when we first started, if we dropped a piece on the floor, we'd sort of immediately scrabble to pick them up and make sure that we used it. And then as the week wore on, we realised that the floor was getting worse and worse in terms of being very dusty, because the workshop next door that we had to walk through to get to the kitchen or the toilet it got loads of MDF dust on the floor.
Oh, crap. That wouldn't do you any good.
Well, no, exactly. But basically, it was just sawdust everywhere effectively on the floor. So if a piece went on the floor, it stayed on the floor because we got, frankly, thousands of the buggers anyway. So for this particular project, if stuff's been falling on the floor while I've been doing it, it's like, oh, it can stay there, it's fine. And then I go and metaphorically hoover it up later and think, oh, well, that's still perfectly usable.
One for me, one for you.
Yes.
It's perfectly justifiable. I mean, they would have allowed certain amount of leeway in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, so far the bits that I've done have had a few extras. One or two folks who've done other bits have had mostly enough, but sometimes just a little bit too few.
So is this all organised by Lego, or?
Yeah. So there's a sort of marketing lead person who's not dedicated to dots completely, but she helped launch dots to start with, and it was her. I don't know if it was her idea. I think it possibly was her idea to do the house in the first place, and then the actual sort of engineering manager, I think his title is, or something like that, from the Cladno model shop, has been the guy who's been organising the nuts and bolts of, we need this many million, thousand, whatever bricks of this sort. So once the designs have been signed off, because it's designed by an independent artist who's been working with Lego as well, who's renowned for having these sort of marvellous colourful designs that are very Lego colours. And once she said, well, I want a sofa that looks like this, they've been then going to Libor, the engineering manager, and saying, well, is this possible to build something like this? And he says, well, mostly, but if you did this instead of that, it would be easier and stuff like that. So this is where all of the designs have come from then to actually there's also the fabricators who are based near Dartford this time round. They've had to make all of the furniture, the carcasses of the furniture from MDF and whatever else they need, and liaising with Libor and Senior, the marketing lady. Then they've had to figure out exactly, we've got this table, how many of these squares am I going to need to fill the top of it, sort of thing. And then the logistics from there have been, okay, well, Kaz is doing that project, she's going to need this many bits. And they've been very good in that each separate thing that we've been doing has turned up in a single box of its own, with instructions just for that thing and all the parts that we need for that thing. So you open one box and you're doing one thing. Then when you finished it, you close the box and start something else with a new different lot of stuff. Now that might mean, I've used 1x1 black tiles in a different project, and a few extras came with that, but I'm not expected to be using those on the other project because it might not have been me that was doing the second one. So there's always enough pieces turn up for what you need to do in the box that you get sent, hopefully. That's the idea anyway.
It's very cool. It's like, I'm just thinking, like, when you see people who get Lego sets and there's a piece missing.
Yes.
Haven't had that happen yet.
Not yet had anything missing from my things, but the issue with the 48 by 48 base plates being, I mean, it wouldn't have been impossible to do it, but I think it would have taken both me and them a lot longer to figure out what went where at the end. And bearing in mind that most of this stuff is on a reasonably tight schedule, then, for the sake of a few extra base plates, which frankly Lego won't miss, because they don't actually pay the going rate for them, do they? Then it's a lot easier for everybody to go, okay, I'll now do 40 of these instead of 30 of the bigger ones, but you've got to put this one in this place and that one in that place and this one in the other place, rather than going, nah, just lay them out. As long as they're all the same way around, lay them out and they're good to go. So
I was going to say, did you get to keep those base plates?
The base plates, I think, will probably have to go back, but if there's a few odds and sods left over from the other bits, then I dare say they won't be bothered about it. I mean, as far as they're concerned, they've effectively shipped a large quantity of parts from their manufacturing place, and it's probably more effort for them to take everything back and then what? Because they're no longer new parts. If they've come to me in a bag, even if I've not touched them, they're no longer new parts as far as Lego are concerned, and they will not sell them. They can't sell them, and therefore they can't put them in a set, and so they just get melted down probably. And you know, all the effort that's going to take is just probably not worth it if you look at the bottom line. So that's the way I'm using to justify anyway.
Yeah. Welcome to Euphoria is asking a question about, do you get instructions for that pattern?
Yes. Well, yes, this is the instructions I've had for this one. So every one of those is a little square that I have to count and make sure it's in the right position. I mean, for this particular project, we are pretty much sticking to, we'd like this, please, make this pattern. Whereas for the previous house, we did a lot of that, but we also were able to do a bit of freeform design of our own. But that's because we were all together and all the parts were in a bag next to the table we were working at. And, you know, if we wanted to use some quarter pizza pieces instead of square ones, then we just grabbed a different handful of stuff to do our own patterns, which is what they'd asked us to do in some instances. But of course, when you've got to ship effectively just the right amount of parts to everybody, you can't possibly know what they want to do for any freeform stuff. So I think effectively the freeform bits we did last time, they were supplemented by some tiles that were made by school kids in the area, somewhere King's Cross way. And I think wherever it's ending up as its first destination, they will do some sort of crowdsourcing locally to decorate part of it as well, because that's all part of the experience, really. So we haven't been able this time to do any sort of freeform stuff, which is fine, but it's just a little bit of a shame. And, you know, we understand why it's happened that way, but it does mean that you do have to concentrate and get it right, because otherwise you go, wait a minute, that's not what we asked for.
Yeah, I can't lie. I wouldn't be very good at what you're doing at the moment. I'm not very good at repetitive stuff.
Well, this one's not as. Now I've done a few repeats of it, I've kind of got. You do have to concentrate more than that. That one I was doing last week with the coral and purple colours, that was very regular, so I could almost just zone out and do it, not without concentrating, but you know, it was easy to get it right.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is a lot more tricky to actually say, is that in the right place or is it not?
So just going back through the stream. Hi, Drew. How you going, mate? Kittenville needs to find a felt person card for her channel. Okay.
For what?
His channel, sorry. Kittenville Brick. Yeah. Going through mine. I quit my job, Ingrid, because I fell out with my co-founders. So
there comes a point where the stress isn't worth it, doesn't there?
No, I was like, my wife had been telling me to quit. So, you know, I'm still a shareholder in the business and things like that. And, you know, technically the whole business was based on an idea I had originally. So, yeah, I'm still the second largest shareholder in the business.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. I mean, it's just, yeah, very much like, well, what the CEO wanted to build was where we were going. It's like, but I disagreed with it. So,
yeah, well,
and they got chastised for that. Well, yeah, but it's not right. So anyway, so now I'm helping my wife with her business, and I think I'm gonna. I don't know, I've got a couple of startup ideas I'm entertaining at the moment, whether or not I want to go down that path. And I'm actually probably going to apply for a job at the Lego shop for some extra income.
Yeah, but is it like, you know, an alcoholic running a pub, Greg? Could it be dangerous for you?
Yeah, true. Well, I'd like to think that you do get to build some of the sets that come in and stuff like that. You know, you obviously don't.
Yeah, you might get your building craving out of your system. Then you think, oh, actually, I built it, and maybe it's not as exciting as I thought it was. Don't need to buy it myself now.
Yeah, you'll get the Yeah, exactly. And there's like some of the sets you're like, well, I want to build that one, but I don't actually want to buy that one. So, oh, yeah, no, if I get onto Lego Masters and win that, it's a nice chunk of money.
Yeah, true. So, do you know how long it'll be before that you hear from them?
Well, my mate applied for it like 3 weeks ago, and he's already done a Skype interview with them. So,
Okay.
I only put mine in on Thursday. So,
Yeah.
it's got to be
When
pretty
was the
quick. It was
closing date?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday was the last day of applications. So,
MrLastMinute.com.
oh yeah, I just it's like wanted to make sure I sort of was in the right mindset to do it. So, it's actually a pretty simple process.
Well, what did you have to do?
Send me a picture of your best, like, there's a couple of questions. One was, what's your best or your favorite thing you've made?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I sent a picture of my bridge. I said it's in progress, but I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
If you had 2 weeks and unlimited bricks, what would you build? And mine was sort of typical. My first choice would be to go down the path of, I wish I could remember what I said. It was my first choice would be to build something that's sort of like a multi-layered city where, you were sort of a Blade Runner-esque fantasy kind of mix up. So, underground there's like dragons and things like that, and then above ground at the lower levels very Blade Runny, and then in the top side very futuristic and that kind of thing. You dream if you've got unlimited bricks on in a good chunk of time to just do that.
Yes.
And then I said my second choice. What was my second choice? I said, if that wasn't appropriate, I'd build this. And then my third choice was to go, well, I'd definitely go down the path of doing something to do with mechs, because I absolutely love mechs. So I can't remember what I actually wrote down as my answer. I should have written it down, but
I was going to say, see, if it was me, I'd have written it down first and then put it in the web form.
You see, this is one of my bloody problems. I'm really good at thinking of things on the spur of the moment, and I can't remember what I said.
I definitely would have taken a copy of it, though.
Like, seriously, I've been in meetings where I've said things, and then people have gone, that's an outstanding idea. So what do we do next? I'm like, hey, what did I say? Shit.
Dozy, what's it? You need a permanent dictation device attached to you.
I do. It's because my brain's already moved on to the next problem.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like I'm already thinking about how to solve the thing I just said.
Butterfly mind.
And everybody wants to understand what it was I just said. I'm like, but this is how we do it. I'm like, yeah, but what did you say? Like, well, hang on.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, forget I said anything. Just do what you want to do. Your own thing anyway. You usually do.
Yeah, well, you might have gathered from this the ridiculous project that I'm doing that I'm fairly methodical. So I kind of work things through to the bitter conclusion before I'll start something else.
So So I can plan, but I tend to be very good at building things to illustrate what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bonus and a curse. Man, I had a batch.
Well, the world needs both types of us, doesn't it? The people that have the really good ideas, and then the people that actually make them happen.
Yeah. I mean, I did get the shits with a bunch of developers that were working for me once when I was a project manager. It took them, after a month of them trying to build it, they still hadn't managed to come up with a solution to a problem. And I'm like, it's like 3 of you here. You're all seniors and you can't solve this? Come on. So I went away that weekend and came in on Monday with a solution. So, here you go. This is how you do it. I built it.
But you went down well there.
I was not popular. Mr.
Lead Balloon.
Oh, yeah, but what was I supposed to do? Sit there and carry on churning money?
Yeah.
Or actually go, you guys have no idea what the hell you're doing. Here's how you do it.
Sometimes, though, I don't know, sometimes I think some people sort of think too hard about a problem rather than going, oh, well, what happens if we try this? I mean, you can't always do it that way, but agile development is the thing now, so...
Well, I was going to say, one thing I've been working on the internet for 20 plus years. Pretty much seen it go from infancy through to what it is now, and it's you realize that you really do need to understand how all the bits work to be a good web developer in my books. It's very hard to be specialized.
Yeah.
very hard. Like you can do it, but you'll never be like a top notch. Like you'll never have the same approach to how things work. Like you'll never think, if I do this, that'll make that work better and things like that. And I mean,
it's got very, very technology heavy these days.
Yeah. I mean, that was one thing I used to do to the CTO. Our startup was periodically, like it used to really wind him up, was I could tell him why something was broken and he couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I'm not even coding now, but this is your problem. Go and have a look at that.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
20 years of experience, mate.
Mate, I used to run servers and shit.
Yeah.
Back in the days when you had to run your own servers.
Indeed.
That's good fun. I miss development. I'm sort of working on an idea at the moment, which is an app. Or a couple of ideas, and might build one of them. See if it does okay. Get my hands dirty again. Yeah, welcome to Euphoria. I was actually thinking, like, I think when I wrote that answer to the question on my application, I think I actually sort of inspired me to go, that's actually how I need to approach my Ninjago district here, because it's what I want to do, is have it like this really sort of built up bustling area. I've no idea how to build that. It's going to be fun finding out.
So I've really enjoyed doing my Ninjago district by just literally taking the original model itself, looking at the Brothers Bricks informal standard for Ninjago, and as long as you stick to the fact that that one side the canal is three studs wide and at the back it's 8 studs wide, so if you've got the straight across module, then you've got 3 at the front, 8 at the back. And the first level is, I think, well, the ground part of the Ninjago docks is 2 bricks and a plate off the base plate, with obviously a plate and then tiles on top of that for the water. And then the second level, the sort of upper street level, or what they call it, is 12 bricks and a plate above the foundations. And with those few rules, you can really go mad, as you can see from my own Ninjago district.
I mean, the thing with mine is, though, I've got the docks and the city are down actually in my harbour.
Yeah. So
kind of, I don't think I've actually got space to put Ninjago City into the city. It wouldn't work, because I've got all the train lines and things going underneath it. There just wouldn't be room.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to build custom, which is why I was like thinking like the lower level is perfect. It's like the old school, markets and things like that. You know how sometimes you see the markets built right along the edge of train tracks and stuff like that.
We know there's one part of, I think it's India, where there's a main train line, and running through a city, and there's literally a market that is right next to the train line.
Yeah, and they all pack up as the trains come through.
Pack up as the train comes. I mean, it's absolutely terrifying, but you could easily do something that looks that terrifying in that part of town, couldn't you? By having it really close and next to the tracks. Of course, the other thing you could do to get yourself in the Ninjago mindset is just build another few layers for your docks.
Yeah.
Because that really improved the docks no end when I added another layer to each turret bit.
Yeah, it does. And it's a little bit lost behind my bridge as well at the moment. So
yeah. I mean, you could go crazy if you like going up there, if you really wanted to. But that doesn't at least get you sort of thinking. You probably haven't got a footprint much above, 8 by 8, 12 by 12, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to cost you a fortune in bricks, and it will get you thinking about the style of the kind of thing required. And I always find it useful to actually, rather than just building stuff, is figure out what I'm building. So, this thing's going to be an antique shop, or this thing's going to be a butcher's, or whatever. And I find if I do that, things turn out an awful lot better than going, well, this is a building, and now what am I going to put in it? Because quite often, I don't plan things over and above going, oh, I think I'd quite like a butcher's, and I haven't got a butcher's in my area, so this is going to be a butcher's. I've really got no idea when I start one of those modules what the hell it's going to look like at the end. None at all. And I just go one level at a time, one shop at a time, if you like, going, okay, this is a butcher's and this is a bookshop, and the next one is a bar for drinking dodgy drink that gets you addicted and all the rest of it. But if I don't do that, I'm looking at it going, well, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing. And a lot of the decisions I make about, I'll use these bricks for this bit, are on the basis of, it's a butcher's, therefore there's probably going to be a large front window so you can see in, and
you'll have stuff hanging in the window, and
and that really does dictate the kind of building I make based on, okay, I'm going to make X or Y in terms of its function.
That is a jolly good idea, Kaz.
So I do one. Quite a few folks just build the exterior of something and never fill in the interiors. And
some people build such ridiculously large exteriors.
I know. It's madness. I'd much rather have something that's maybe 2 or 3 floors tall with a fully detailed interior than something that's a skeleton at 20 stories.
Yeah, I saw somebody done like a grand emporium that was like probably about 20 stories tall.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
All right, it looks nice. The building looks nice, but it's empty. You can see it's empty. Why is that?
You can see daylight through both sides.
Yeah. It's not the interior of the Grand Emporium is a bit disappointing, but
it's there. That all that means is it's there for you to make it even better.
Yeah, it's a fantastic set. I love it. So I'm glad I built it.
Interesting comment from Welcome to Euphoria. Kaz, for me, the conceptual stage is very important because otherwise you spin off too many tangents with no direction. Yeah, and that's probably what I would do accidentally if I didn't think about it. So, even ridiculously, even my Micropolis builds, most of them are built with me thinking, oh, this is probably going to end up being an XYZ. Sometimes I build it and think that looks more like an office than it does housing. But I've generally got a broad category of what am I making before I even put 2 bricks together. So,
have you signed a game deal yet? You could be building Micropolis the game.
I thought that was called SimCity.
Well, Maxis has been shut down now, so.
Oh, was it? I say I'm so out of the gaming sphere. I've got no idea.
Yeah, it's a shame because when they made the last SimCity, they came forward with like the demo of how the game was going to work, and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome! Now we'll give you funding if you make it online."
Right.
And at that point, the game died.
Because it was basically just it was not multiplayer then. It was just literally on your own machine. You did what you want. Yeah,
and it was like, well, it wasn't you. Yeah, it was effectively they could only build a certain size city because of the online constraints. And it was just there's so many things that were wrong. The servers fell over the first day. It was so tarnished, ridiculous. And they were the developers.
Kill a good thing then.
Yeah, and that was why there's that other game, City Skylines, because they came forward and they'd wanted to build a game, but they just knew how good SimCity was, and they'd seen all the prototypes of the new game, and well, that's just so good. Like, we won't be able to challenge that. And then it had all these issues, and they're like, right,
let's go for it.
And they've made the game that SimCity, what the SimCity developers wanted to build. So it's a shame.
Yeah.
Maxis is a very established brand. They've been around for a long time, and it's like EA again strikes corporate, screwed over another business.
Kiss of Death.
Sad. Cities is awesome. I've been playing Cities recently. It's so time consuming though.
I was going to say, I mean, occasionally I'll play Carcassonne on my iPad. I'd love to. I first knew of the game in person rather than digitally, but you can't play Carcassonne in person on your own. You need at least one opponent. Whereas at least the iPad and iPhone version, you can choose computer opponents who. I think I choose mine pretty well. I play against 2 of the random characters normally, and I win about 60% of the time, which is enough to keep me thinking, oh, I can probably win this one, but not too much that I'm like, oh, it's really easy. But apart from that, I just don't. Gaming doesn't appeal because I've got so many other things to my sinks for my time already.
Yeah. Well, I used to be a big gamer and I got back into Lego, and now gaming actually is secondary to Lego.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even interested in Lego games, so I don't know what that says. I'm just basically not a gamer, full stop. And yeah, I miss a lot of the cultural references, but whatever.
Brett Builds Ready Player One's an awesome book and film. The film is amazing, but the book is so much better.
There was
Anyone feel free to tell me differently, but they miss so much of the nostalgia gaming out of the movie. It's not funny. It's like it was written by people who didn't really understand nostalgic gaming.
Maybe it was written by people who didn't understand nostalgic gaming.
Or Steven Spielberg, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic movie, but it's not like it misses so much of what was great about the book.
I had no idea it was even a book, so.
I've not actually read the book. I've got the I've got an Audible subscription. I absolutely love Audible. I get a book every sort of. I've got actually 2 credits outstanding at the moment, but I buy books regularly. And the Ready Player One, I've actually got 2 versions of it. I've got only one version of that one. Sorry, read by Will Wheaton. Used to be
Wesley Crusher.
Wesley Crusher. So he's a very good narrator. Actually, I like him. So
Dr. Sheldon Cooper's nemesis.
It's a shame. It's a shame they never finished like the story path for Wesley Crusher in Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's like he got to that episode where I don't know if you ever watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, but he did
Well, I did, but donkeys years ago. I haven't seen him for ages.
He's like he basically disappeared. Like he did something so amazing and like transcended with this other guy who was like his mentor, and that was it. Never saw him again.
Huh.
Which was a shame. It's like, well, hang on, could have done.
Was he ever mentioned again? I mean, did Dr. Beverly go, "Where's my son"?
No, I don't think he was, to be perfectly honest.
So he was the elephant not in the room then, was he?
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't know what he did. I find it funny though. He went to the one of the premieres of the Star Wars movies wearing his Star Trek outfit.
Yeah, he did that in Big Bang Theory as well.
Got booed.
Yeah, he got booed then.
Too good.
I think his retort was "Live long and suck it." Well, it was on the Big Bang anyway.
I need to watch the Big Bang. I've never watched that many episodes of it. I know. I always found it funny, but I've never watched that many of them.
I was very into it at one point, although the last couple of seasons were kind of. It was either on when I didn't notice or whatever, so I've had to go back and get the DVDs because I'm old school and won't download stuff. Give me something physical.
Well, yeah. I mean, the trouble is I don't download much anymore because it's all on the TV services I've got.
Mm.
So when they go away, I'm screwed. But...
Well, yeah. Mind you, my DVDs will probably be so knackered they won't play in a few years' time anyway, so I doubt I'll be much better off.
I digitize all of mine.
Well, I would, but I don't have the capacity to store it. I've got most of my music digitized that I listen to on any regular basis, but I never got around to doing DVDs because it's so much more hungry on storage.
True. True.
I was running a Plesk media server at one point, but then I think it was Netgear Ready NAS, I think was the thing I was using, and all of the discs went, so I got another one and sorted that out, and then I hadn't used it for a long time, turned it on again, and there'd been a Windows upgrade, and Windows would no longer talk to the Ready NAS anymore because it used an old version of file sharing symbol or something, I don't know. Anyway, the upshot of it was it's effectively just a big pile of crap in the corner because it was such an old NAS that Netgear were not going to write a new driver for it to be compatible with Windows 10. So it's just a brick now.
I was going to say, it's surprised there's not some open source version for it.
Well, there might have been, but it seemed like bloody complicated to get it organised, and I just couldn't be bothered. So I just went out and bought a terabyte of static external drive.
Fair enough.
No, that's not the only place I back things up. I'm not daft. But
I need to get better on my backups.
back up your backups always.
Yeah, I've swapped this machine. I recently rebuilt the whole thing to. It's a 11-year-old. Hey, Tation, how you going, mate? It's a 12-year-old. Oh no, sorry, a 9-year-old iMac. Which is not.
I saying last week that you've given it a boost.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a slouch, but it's like in the manual it says it only takes 16 gig of RAM, but someone found out you can put 32 in it. So I was reluctant to do the upgrade on it because of my wife was using it for her work, and now she bought a new machine. So I've basically gone and stuck an SSD in it, and it's now up to the full 32 gig of RAM, and it's like a new machine. It's great.
It doesn't matter if Greg crashes it now then.
No, as long as I got a backup, which I need to sort out.
Here's another one I've made earlier. Well, just now. Whee!
Hey, you're going to be seeing those in your sleep.
It's quite good if you're feeling a bit insomnia.
Counting sheep.
Yeah.
Counting bricks. Are you keeping a running tally of how many bricks you've made each day?
Well, not each day, but I'm keeping a running tally so that when I have finished it and people go, how many of those did you have to do? I'll be able to go, X thousand, so many hundreds. I will be able to tell them. Well, this tabletop, I think is, let me do the math again. I can't do it in my head. It's 312 studs by 120 is the finished size, which is 37,440 tiles.
Quite a lot then.
Yes. Every one of them has to be straight. Well, straightish. And somebody pointed out, probably don't need to be absolutely straight, but if they're over a certain amount of wonkiness, it does drive me mad. So I have to straighten them up to a certain extent.
No, I agree. And I saw you using the brick separator down the lines, which is something I do as well.
Yeah.
It matters. You know what? I was driving along the road the other day, talking about sort of OCD things. I was driving along the road the other day, and we stopped in this traffic, and we looked to our left, and there's a guy literally in the bus lane sweeping up some concrete that had splashed, like not splashed, like a brick, using a dustpan and brush.
What?
like it's OCD to the max.
Surely endangering himself being in the bus lane.
It's like, yeah, we said the same thing. Like, it doesn't seem like the best idea. But obviously, this piece of concrete mattered to him.
Clearly. Oh, I might have to go and make another cup of tea in a minute.
Oh, well, it's probably not a bad time to wrap up, as it's almost 11:30 here. So.
Fair enough.
I feel I need to stop going to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I've
It's
been
not
trying to
doing me
get to bed by 11 because I'm normally up at 1 a.m. and get up at 9 type sort of person. But
any- Yeah, well,
yesterday I went to bed at 11 and woke up at 7 this morning, and I've been out for a walk and come back before breakfast before 8:30, which is a bit unheard of for me. So
last night my kids were up about 11 times, I reckon.
I
Ended up with 2 of them in bed with me, so it's not the most relaxing sleep, unfortunately. I love them to bits, but go to bed. It's probably not helped my cold at all.
No. Is it little one Daphne sort of disturbing them then, or what?
Oh no, well, Callie's going through a bit of sleep regression at the moment. She's saying she's having dreams and things like that. So, and then Daphne's just got separation anxiety at the moment. So, which is a perfectly normal phase for children, unfortunately.
Right.
You're lucky if they don't go through it, but mine all have. Alas, it's not reciprocal.
And how long does that normally last?
Not
Well, I say
long.
normally. How long did it last for the other 2?
A few weeks.
All right.
That being said, Mike said they had a whole year of it with Piper, his daughter.
Yeah. Hey, it's Stefan. Hello, Stefan. How are you?
Hey, how you going, mate? To get you on one of these streams, dude.
Well, he's just had another little one, so he's probably a bit busy himself.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll keep you busy. I love them to bits, but my God, it's like, Daphne was basically asleep on my shoulder all last night. So, and she's very cute and very sweet, and I love her to bits. But it's like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone for one night.
Well, I love my sleep, and I don't take kindly to not getting enough. So it's one of the reasons I never had any.
I'm one of those people who I can sleep through an earthquake, but unfortunately, the parental instinct is you hear your kids and you're awake in milliseconds. Unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. It's a good thing, but
one of my neighbour's small humans, I don't know how old it is. I don't even know whether it's a boy or a girl. I suspect it's a boy, but when they're a certain age, you really can't tell when they're screaming their heads off. And I think whatever sex the child is, it's just about old enough to say mummy or mama. So it's not a baby.
No, that's sort of getting into.
But my God, the screaming for attention. My God, half the time if I've got the window open here and I'm thinking, nice up, maybe I'll open the door because it's a nice day.
Do you know why that is though? And it's something that a lot of parents do.
And it's just screaming and screaming and screaming, and you know that it's not real distress because it stops very quickly.
Yeah.
When they've either got their way or they've decided they're bored with that or whatever. It's not like knowing that there's something really, really wrong with the kid, but you think, oh my God, it wears me down so much. It wears me down. It's not even mine.
What's one thing a lot of parents do is they feel the minute they hear their kid, they have to be there and respond to it, and that's training them to expect.
Making a rod for your own back, isn't it?
It's we always had a thing with Daphne. Just give her 5 minutes.
Yeah.
See if she settles.
Yeah.
And half the time she does.
Yeah. Sadly, at the moment, though, that means he's woken the other 2 up.
Well, yeah, but what's really good is Joss is an amazing big sister.
Yeah.
And she actually brings Daphne into bed with her and gives her a cuddle, and she goes and Daphne sleeps in bed with her quite often. So.
Oh right. Well, you need to encourage more of that, definitely.
Yeah, the problem is we've still got Callie who comes running down the bed to our house, and at that time of the morning she doesn't do it subtly either. It's very stomp, stomp, stomp through the house. You're like, oh, here comes Callie. Bless her. It's funny because she's trying desperately to be friends with Daphne at the moment, and Daphne's having none of it. Daphne's just not interested. It's it's Callie's own fault, but
yeah. Tayshawn says he saw my Micropolis in Lego Life magazine. Yeah, it was in there. I think I don't know if it's the latest issue, how often they're put out, but it was a couple of weeks ago that they put out the new edition of it. And there was
the Blocks magazine to read, actually.
A little feature about one or two of the things that were in Lego House. So. It's funny, there's a quote in there from me, and I'm sure I did make it, but when it was so long ago when I first did the little interview thing with them that the thing came and I read it and I thought, oh, did I say that? That's quite profound.
That's like me in meetings, isn't it? It's like, oh,
yeah.
Can't even remember what I said. Yeah, me. Lego needs to do something with these crates. They need like a clear lid for them, so that when you put pieces in them, they stay there. Like you're doing this like random. I've got like fish and an egg and chicken leg in there. It's like, well, the minute I move this thing, that's going to go flying everywhere.
I really do hate Lego models where not everything is actually nailed down, don't you?
Yeah.
Or at least attached to a stud.
Yeah.
Precisely because that reason. I mean, you know, I don't want to glue it down. Don't get me wrong, but if you move it or dust it or do something and it just disappears, it's annoying.
Here we go. Speaking of cuddles, this is Callie.
Oh dear. Cuddle time, is it?
Aww. Say hi to the internet.
We are not in it.
Yes, we are. This is Kaz. She's in the UK.
Hello. Hello.
And we've got people in America, people in Germany, people in Australia, people all over the world watching us at the moment.
Yes, that's right, Stefan. I have a lot of dots fun. Although fun might not be the right word, but
yeah, Kaz is building a tabletop.
Yeah.
At an unusual scale for her.
It is. This is normally a whole block. What's going wrong?
That's like half your city normally.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good point, Julian. Yeah, all the loose stuff on them, yeah, is annoying. I get why they do it sometimes. Like you had the anchor, you had the box of tools. The box of tools annoyed me actually, especially when I forgot it was
never ever attached to anything.
Especially when I forgot the and especially when I forgot the box of tools was there when I moved it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think my youngest is awake as well now. Might be time to wrap up.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be a good time to bow out.
Right, I'm going to deal with the issues of life and get this one back to bed.
Sounds tired anyway.
Yeah, she's tired.
We
had a big day today, we had a big play today. And a big walk, and you rode your scooter down to the playground, and then we went and got some milkshakes, and then rode all the way back after a huge hour at the playground.
Oh, milkshake! I could just have a big milkshake right now, strawberry flavour.
I usually have a coffee, but today I had a milkshake. It was great. Glad I did.
Well, next best thing for me will be a cup of tea, I think. So, time to go put the kettle on.
I think I might go make a lemon and honey for my See what did you do that for? That was a bit pointless. Do you not come in here and destroy things, Callista? All right, Kaz, I'm going to wrap up there because I need to go sort out children, unfortunately.
Oh, it's been
Sorry,
nice.
everybody, those who've just joined. I was building the shrimp shack. I'm almost finished it. Kind of love it. There's a lot. It doesn't need a lot done to it, does it?
No, just a back putting.
Yeah, a back on it, and and then got to find a space for it.
Yep.
All right, Kaz, enjoy your dots.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're
yeah.
This is a regular thing now. One of us will always be here. I think it seems to be quite a good time to do it. So
yeah,
it's trying to catch all the time zones because Mike was meant to be with us, Dr. McBrick, but he unfortunately had to do something else. So it's a shame. He should be on next week. He was dead keen to do it. So anyway, all right, Kaz, enjoy your dots.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Kaz, say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we go. There's Kaz. She's from near where I live in the UK, or where I'm from in the UK. All right. See you guys.
Bye.